I'm waiting for the sunrise. Got no electricity this morning, but there's always light in the castle. Today we're going to talk about a teacher. It's a mentor. By the way, it is a software. You ask a question or a prompt and it gives you an answer. But before you ask questions, it's absolutely important to give ChatGPT context. Explain to ChatGPT who you are. So for example, I will say, hi, my name is Wallace and I'm a marine biologist. What specific areas of marine biology are you most interested in? I study turtles and I am trying to understand my skills. And ask, what are my skills? ChatGPT will say, that's wonderful, Wallace. Studying turtles is crucial for understanding marine ecosystems and conservation efforts. Let's break down the skills and expertise you likely possess as a marine biologist specializing in turtles. It gives you a list, your core skills. You're going to go further and deeper. And you can say, organize my skills so they are technical and non-technical. And it's going to categorize your skills: field research skills, analytical skills, technical skills, non-technical, scientific knowledge, communication skills, personal attribute, attention to detail, patience and perseverance, and team collaboration. Let's say Wallace is applying for a job. And one of the questions is, what skills are most important to you? So you can ask ChatGPT to guide you for interviews when you're preparing for an interview and you have to demonstrate your skills. So you can say, I will be going to a job interview and I need to highlight my skills. List the position. The position is for the director role at a nonprofit that protects marine wildlife. Okay? You give it another context, another layer in the context. Then you ask, what skills should I highlight? This is important because you're almost preparing for this interview by anticipating what those questions might be. We're asking, what specific skill do you need for this position that you may be applying for, or you're just curious about? For a director role in a nonprofit that protects marine wildlife, you need to highlight a combination of leadership, technical expertise, and communication skills. So these are the skills that role will require. And you can ask, if I go to a job interview, what are some of the questions the interviewer may ask to highlight my skills? Common interview questions. Can you tell us about your background and expertise in marine biology and conservation? How have you demonstrated leadership in your previous roles? What strategies would you implement to advance our organizational conservation goals? It'll give you a list of questions. Next thing that you do is upload your resume, which I will cover in the next episode with this example of how you can improve your resume to showcase your skills. But let's keep going. I got about 30% battery left in my office. Nada. So then you want to tell ChatGPT what you are good at and what you may not be so good at, and demonstrate your strengths and weaknesses for this position and what you can actually say in the interviews. This is the question we will have. I am good at communicating with different people and reading data analytics. Is this enough for the role of the director? And it'll tell you key skills and attributes for a director role. It will give you the skills you need: leadership and management skills, fundraising, technical expertise, communication, and outreach. And you want to ask, rank in the order of most important. You can ask ChatGPT to rank which skill is most important for this role: leadership and management, fundraising and financial management, communication and outreach, technical expertise. Then you want to tell ChatGPT the highlights of your resume, okay? And I will actually go more into that in the next episode, but I will give you a little sneak peek in this one. So we will go to my friend's resume, copy this entire resume, paste it in this document, which I've already done. I've prepared this. And you can either copy and paste the text into ChatGPT to summarize the skills, or you can actually download the document and then upload it in ChatGPT. So let me just get rid of this stuff, because these are media links. We don't want the media links here. You could just delete the media links. We just want the resume that's on LinkedIn. So like I said, you can copy and paste this resume and you can put it in ChatGPT. Here is my resume. Am I qualified for this position? And you copy and paste. It's going to read your resume and say, at Wallace, your extensive experience in marine science, conservation, and education, along with your leadership roles and strong communication skills, may make you highly qualified for a director position at a nonprofit. Alignment of your skills and director role requirements. It will list all those skills you need to be a director and match and analyze it with the skills that you've provided. Then you can say, what skills do I need to prove to be ready for this job role? Then it will tell you, based on your resume and the key skills required for director role at a nonprofit that protects marine wildlife, here are areas where you might want to focus on improvement or further development to ensure you're fully prepared for the position. Fundraising and financial management. Ensure you're proficient in writing compelling grant proposals. Grant writing, fundraising strategies, budgeting, budget management. Let's take a real director role at a conservation. Director role job openings. What are the roles in conservation? Let's look at UN jobs, wildlife conservation. And there's one that is marine life director. So we're going to copy this job role, and tell ChatGPT, I found a director role and I want to know if I qualify for this position. Again, copy and paste. Based on your resume and job description for the job protection director position at the Natural Conservancy, you appear to be a strong candidate. Here's a detailed analysis how your qualification matches the job requirements, where you might need to improve or emphasize your skill. ChatGPT gives you a recommendation and lets you know where you qualify, but also where you can improve. For qualification, it shows that you have over 30 years of experience in marine science, which obviously matches what they're looking for. Your experience executing programs and projects for marine protection, your qualification, you've led various initiatives for funding experience. While your resume mentions leading organizations and initiatives, highlighting specific fundraising successes would strengthen your application. So here you have an opportunity to be specific on the type of skills that is a match by highlighting those specific projects. And that's really important, and that ChatGPT gives you this recommendation. You don't fall short on the resume and even in the interview. And then you can kind of go through this, developing collaborative partnerships, your qualifications, your extensive network and experience collaborating with various organizations and stakeholders will support this requirement, and we go down the list. Now, it also lets you know your bonus skills. It has highlighted some skills that may not be mentioned in the job description, but when you're having this conversation with a recruiter or an interview, you could highlight that. For example, multilingual and cross-cultural experience, which is great, showcases your leadership skills, your empathy, your compassion, your ability to understand different people, knowledge of marine protected areas, your subject matter expert, really highlight your work there. Proficient English writing and communication skills. This is great if you're applying for the position abroad. You want to highlight that. And it tells you areas for improvement or emphasis. Highlight any specific fundraising achievements, financial management, detail your involvement in budget management. So this is really good stuff. And it also gives you a recommendation preparing your application and interview. What to list on the resume, how to prepare for the interview, be ready with detailed examples of your past conservation projects. And here, example responses for key interview questions. And it tells you how you could even respond to the potential questions. For example, in fundraising experience, in my role with the Blue Mind Movement, I led a fundraising campaign that secured over $500,000 in donations, blah, 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 and that created an impact. Financial management, another example. Work with MPAs, another example. And then you go ahead and ask ChatGPT, which skills should I highlight that best fits this role? And this is really important because you ask again, which skills do I really highlight? Now that I have an idea of what experience I can talk about, what are like some of the skills that I really should highlight? And you can ask ChatGPT different questions to get the same kind of focus. So you want to keep asking about the skills because you want to get different answers so you can really think about the answers that you want to give. Here, key skills to highlight. Again, experience in conservation practice and policy, execution of programs and project, detail your experience in designing, implementing, managing conservation programs, and the list goes on. Fundraising and financial management, leadership and time management, communication outreach, analytical analytical problem solving, these specific examples from your resume allow you to really be focused in the interview process. It's really great. And then I asked one final question. What questions might the job interviewer ask? ChatGPT even goes on to give you an idea of how to answer these questions. Can you describe your experience in marine conservation and how it relates to this role? What they're looking for. It summarizes your background and specific achievements. How to answer. Summarize your 30 plus years experience, example response. And it gives you a script. I have over 30 years of experience in marine conservation, focusing on cognitive and emotional benefits of water through the Blue Mind movement, which is a movement my friend started. I have led numerous initiatives, including established MPAs and community engagement projects, which align with your mission and goals. And it gives you a lot more questions, which is amazing. I really like ChatGPT as a resource. I asked another question. Based on this job description and my skill set, which skill is the best match and what should I highlight the most? And you ask again because you might get different responses and you want to basically take the best. Experience in conservation practice and policy, why it's important. The role requires significant experience in conservation practice and policy. Your match, again, your 30 years of experience, highlight your long-term commitment. This role is really asking for a commitment and leadership. So again, you want to highlight that, and it repeats a lot of the other examples. Showed you how to use ChatGPT to assist you in understanding your skills, how ChatGPT analyzes your skills and highlights your skills with that of the job description. Now you have all that you need to prepare for your interview, and you can understand your skill sets and how it matches with the company's looking for. ChatGPT helps you focus on your skills and really develop those answers. ChatGPT also gives you those questions that you need, which is great. And even though we're using this for understanding our skills and our resume and job interviewing, we really have the opportunity to do a lot with ChatGPT. Enjoy learning this program. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. And as always, do the best that you can. All right, guys, I'm going to give you another view of the sunrise. I got to do something about this hair. When you have a terrace, you have pigeon poop. Beautiful mountain. And yes, I'm still in my robe because I love creating in my pajamas.